Welcome to our Nairobi apartment. So my husband and I moved to Nairobi 2 years ago, and it took us a couple of weeks to find the perfect apartment for us to start our life here in Kenya. Eventually we found it, and it has been the perfect home for us. In general, you'll see that my kind of decor style is like sort of mid-century modern, but with a global / African feel. I tried to make sure that every single room had some kind of African element to it. I also tried to have some kind of DIY project in every single room. So I'm really excited to kind of take you guys inside our home. If you've been following me for a long time, you know that I haven't shared a house tour intentionally for a long time because our home is really private and personal. And although I share a lot about my life on the internet, I just feel like where you live and where you sleep is like your personal business. But now that we're actually moving out of our apartment next week, I feel like now that it's like no longer gonna be where we're staying, y'all can see it. So I hope that you guys enjoy this apartment tour. Most of the rooms already have a blog post that explains where every single thing is from the room. A lot of the kind of DIY transformations either have a video or a blog post that accompany it. So make sure that you check the description box to see where stuff is from, because it's probably already been answered, but in case it hasn't been, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. I also did try to source a mix of things from Kenya, but we also came with a bunch of furniture from the US, so it's possible that something might not be available in Kenya if you're asking for it in Kenya, and it might be possible that it's not available in the US if you're asking for it in the US. But without further ado, let us get into my house tour! So the entryway is almost entirely made and purchased in Kenya. This is the EJ cabinet by Tira Studio. I collaborated with them to make this cabinet. There's a whole video about the process, so you should go ahead and check that out. This holds our shoes, and it was just really designed very intentionally so that it would fit a lot of things. And then in the other corner of the entryway, we have a nice mirror. It's really good to always have a mirror so you can just double check when you come back or when you're leaving the house that everything looks good. And then also got some pampas grass and a little vase on the floor just to provide a little extra oomph to the space. The living room is probably the most well thought out room in the house. I spent a lot of time thinking about what vibe I wanted. I wanted it to be really cozy and warm, but also kid friendly. So a couple things to note is that these two couches are by IKEA. They're actually a sectional it's like a modular sectional, so we separated them. They've been with us at least for 5 years, really high quality. I've changed the covers and I've changed the legs so they don't look like the original IKEA couch that it was, but it's been really nice to kind of have these, like I sit in this chase a lot on the weekends and I'm just reading. And then of course our leather article couch. It's such a statement piece. I always get asked where this couch is from. It's incredibly comfortable. We also have these two bookcases. These came with us from the US and we've also used them for a really long time. They're actually secondhand IKEA. So I think that I paid $50 for the two of them. The only other things that we added is that when we moved, we bought these half glass doors and added to them, and then they've come off on this one because my son ripped them off, but I added kind of these like leather pulls to make them look a little bit more custom. The rug was bought before we moved here and is probably the brightest thing like decor wise in our apartment. And then the coffee tables, it's really easy, like when we're eating, if we're eating in front of the TV, which is a bad habit, but still, we'll kind of like just separate these and then they basically become side tables, so you don't have to have coffee tables and side tables. And we got round coffee tables because we have a child. Speaking of having a child, on this wall we have our TV and our TV stand, a bunch of plants, and then some baskets. This is like the African touch of the room. We used to actually keep record player and records down here, but once our kid became more mobile, we switched this over to be his toy shelves. So now we keep his toys here, so whenever he wants to play with something, he just comes and gets it by himself, and we're working on teaching him how to put it back. But at the end of the day, we know that there's a clear place where all of his toys go, and then, you know, when it's time for us to kind of sit down and have some couple time, like his stuff is out of the way, it doesn't look like a crazy madhouse where a child lives. And then we have a couple of different plants in the living room. I have a completely different video with a plant tour showing you all the different plants that I have in the apartment. Some are doing better than others, but the Monstera is actually one of my favorite plants. And another thing we have here in the living room is this really beautiful macrame magazine rack, I think. This is actually made in Kenya. I'll link in the description box where you can find it, but we use it to store our blankets so that in case we like are cold and want to cover ourselves up with something, we do that. So yeah, that is our living room. So this is our dining room where we have several meals throughout the day. We don't always eat dinner on the dining table, but we definitely always eat breakfast and lunch on the dining table. It's pretty simple. It's just a table that can seat 6. So we have 4 of these chairs that all came in a set, and we have 2 plastic chairs that we can kind of bring in if we have guests. We use this wall to do a family gallery wall with frame bridge. That was a pretty cool campaign. The only other thing really happening in the dining room is this bookshelf that is the same style. It's the same Billy bookcase as the other ones, and it was bought at the same time. It just kind of like now holds some barware as well as a couple of drinks. But yeah, the dining room is pretty simple, not that exciting. I would say this is probably the room that I've done the least with. Like, there's no interesting light fixture. I didn't paint the walls. Like, it's just the dining room. You've probably seen the kitchen a ton of times because I've done cooking videos, cleaning videos, all sorts of kitchen related videos. I think I've even done a how to organize the pantry video. So the kitchen is humongous. It's actually bigger than what we need. There's so much storage. I love the wood. So yeah, I didn't really do any decorating per se. I did kind of put this banner up to hide the electrical box, which is a great tip in any apartment. If you have like a circuit box or an electrical box, you don't want it to be visible, just put some art over it. So all of the kitchen is, pretty simple, basic. I didn't really do that much decor. My favorite part of it is our spice containers. This set up by the Muted Home, which is a Black-owned company. Love to support our people. They're just a really pretty way to store spices in these really nice jars, and they came with the labels as well, which is really convenient. We also have spices down here. This set was from the Container Store when I did a partnership with them back when we lived in the US. But that's probably my favorite part of the kitchen in terms of things that I did. It does have as I said, it has a lot of storage. And we don't even use some of it. There's nothing in these drawers. Nothing. Empty. We don't even use it. So it's a humongous, humongous kitchen. So I've shown you the front part of the apartment, and I'm going to show you the second half, which is where all the bedrooms are. We have 3 different bedrooms. We use one as a nursery, one as an office, and then one as our primary bedroom. But first, our beautiful hallway. This rug is one of my favorite pieces in our home because it really just gives me African mudcloth vibes. I also DIY'd this little macrame hanging, and you can find that video tagged here. So this bedroom on this side is the nursery, and I'll take you there first. And then this bedroom on this side we've turned into a home office, and I'll take you there next. So here's our nursery, although it feels weird to call it a nursery now since our son is a year and a half. But the theme of the nursery, as you can tell, is safari theme. It's actually the same theme as our baby shower before he was born. So it's kind of a cute way to tie it in all together. And all that really means is that there are a lot of different African animals in his nursery. The biggest kind of focal point of the nursery is this wallpaper that we hung up by ourselves. It's peel and stick removable wallpaper. I have a completely different video of the installation process of the wallpaper, so you can go and check that out, but it really just helps provide the room with a focal point. And so I like to do accent walls. So this is the accent wall for the nursery. His dresser and changing table, just a really nice 6-drawer dresser that was actually made here locally in Kenya. The art is, this is from the baby shower. This is also a baby shower gift. These were all actually baby shower gifts, but this is made in Kenya. The rug is super old. We actually used to use this rug in our living room in Jersey City, so it's been with us for a very long time and probably has seen better days. And then on the other side of the room, we have his crib, reading nook, and the reclining chair that I used to use a lot when I was breastfeeding. There's still a lot more animal stuff here on this side. So we have these frames right above his bed that say, cute little thing. We have the giraffe, the elephant, and the lion. His crib was imported, as well as his crib mattress. And then this is also super old. This was in our bathroom when we lived in Jersey City, but now we just kind of keep his books. And it's really awesome because he's now tall enough to walk over here and just kind of select whichever book he wants to read, which is really cute. He likes to read like his mama. We have this artwork here that I think is by Photo Wall. This actually was bought at Wasp and Sprout, and this is the same fabric as his bassinet, which he used to sleep in, but now we use as a toy chest. So I know I already talked about the wallpaper, but there's another thing that I did here by myself, which is paint the walls white. I hate like landlord yellow. So I painted the walls white all by myself while I was still pregnant, which was definitely a feat. And then the other thing that I want to share is that if you want to know where all the different sources for the crib, the dresser, really everything that's in the room, I have a whole blog post where I've already done the nursery reveal, so you can kind of check that blog post out if you have any questions about where I got different things. So we're now in our home office / guest bedroom, and how it becomes a guest bedroom is that a couple times that we have had family over, usually my parents, this couch pulls out into a sleeper sofa. But otherwise, we just have 2 desks in here that we have kind of tandem style, side by side. And Jonathan and I both do our work. As you can see, our desks have very different ambiances. There's a creative side and there's a tech side with so many cables. So there's actually a lot of things I really love about the office since we spend so much time, the majority of our day in here. But this wall right here is one of my proudest moments. I painted this myself and also painted this myself. I don't know what I was going through emotionally, but I turned to painting as a form of self-care, and I was really proud to come up with these pieces and then display them in a gallery wall on my office wall. That is my doctoral tam from when I got my PhD, so this is just a really special kind of like wall for me. Every once in a while, not too often because unfortunately this area usually just gets covered in cables and wires, but it's nice to have in an office a place where you can kind of sit that's not your desk chair. Sometimes when I like have to do an Instagram post, I'll kind of get up from the desk, stretch my legs, and come sit on the couch and get my post up before I kind of head back to the computer. Kind of like give your eyes a rest. We also use the office for storage. So every bedroom has a bunch of closets, which is really nice. So we keep a bunch of random stuff stored behind the scenes, behind the closed doors. And then the office also has this kind of like nook situation that we have used to really store suitcases, extra tools. This couch also had arms that we have actually taken off to create more space, but those are stored up there. Extra bedding is stored up there. That nook like really serves a lot of purposes. All the bedrooms also have their own ensuite bathroom. There's nothing interesting about the bathrooms, so I won't show them because I did not design or decorate any bathroom whatsoever. So now we are in what is probably my favorite room of our apartment, which is our bedroom. So our bedroom is massive. It actually was pretty hard to design because there's just a lot of square footage, and we've never had a bedroom this big. It's probably a little bit smaller than my very first studio apartment that I had in Harlem all by myself. But my favorite aspect of the room is this really bold accent wall that I painted myself using a stencil. I have a whole video on how I did that, so you can feel free to check out that bedroom transformation. But our bed we came with from the US, actually almost everything here we came with, like the big furniture items we brought with us because we were just already had a bed and we already had a nightstand. So when we moved here, we just kind of brought everything with us. The lamps were bought in Kenya, the light fixtures were bought in Kenya, and this chair that is kind of like the additional piece of furniture in the room was also brought here. I really like our bedding. It is really comfortable. I like to pile on. This is a weighted blanket, which helps you sleep more deeply because it kind of like calms anxiety. Then we have a throw blanket, tons of different pillows. I'm a pillow person. It's so big that when we were apartment hunting for our next place that we're moving to, it was so hard for us to find a reasonably sized bedroom. Like this is definitely a much bigger bedroom than the average Nairobi bedroom. It's massive. Then the other side of the room that has a lot of space, what I really did is create 2 kind of separate spaces. One is like a reading nook, and the bookshelf that's there is from IKEA. I used to have all my handbags and purses and shoes on there. But a lot of stuff I've already packed and taken to the US, so it's looking a little bit sparse. But I still love the chair and the mirror. They're both made in Africa by African furniture makers, and so that's kind of like the touch of Africa in the room. And then finally, we have our bar area. So I actually did a campaign with an alcohol company, and then I kind of been thinking about how I wanted to re-envision drinking at home. I decided to bring our bar into our bedroom so it can kind of be like a, what is that word? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the word, but it's right here. Not a nightclub. What's the word for like a secret bar? I'm forgetting the word. Y'all know the word though. Y'all know the word. It's like when you like open a door and unexpectedly it's all of a sudden a bar. Anyway, that's the word I'm thinking of. So one of the best things about this apartment is that there's so much storage. This walk-in closet in our bedroom just has so much space. On one side we each have our like closet, and there's a closet in the middle where we store a bunch of stuff. But on this side, we actually removed the doors to make it a little bit more open and airy. I like to be able to kind of see my clothes, and it's just easier to kind of access clothes. I know that some people probably, want to have their stuff hidden behind, but it also helps keep us accountable because, like you have to keep it clean because it's visible. And I talked earlier about the fact that I don't really use that vanity desk in the bedroom itself because there is a vanity already built into the closet. So I just have this chair here that I sit in, and I do my makeup here, and I, do my skincare here and do my hair here when necessary. There's also a bathroom inside the bedroom. It has a bathtub, but otherwise not really that exciting or interesting, but it's a bathroom. So when we first took the doors off the closets, I actually had this whole vision to redesign the closet space and just make it feel more like a room. I even got some wallpaper samples, and I was trying to decide between these two like peel and stick wallpaper, and then I just lost steam. And sometimes that happens when you're decorating. You're just like, you know what? It don't matter. And I actually know the exact moment it happened. It was right when the pandemic started. I was like, we're never leaving this house again. The closet just like isn't that important. And so I didn't end up ever doing anything to it, but it's okay because I actually don't spend that much time in here. But yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that there are some things that I maybe wanted to do and just kind of never got around to doing. And that happens. That's real life. Not every design project that you have in your mind is able to be executed either because of time, because of circumstances, or because of money. So that is our apartment tour. Hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know down below in the comments what your favorite room was, or favorite decor element or furniture piece was in our apartment. As I said, we are moving in a few days, so it is going to be a bittersweet goodbye. This apartment was the first place that our son came home to, where he was raised, where I, landed in Nairobi when I moved to Nairobi. So this place will always have a special place in my heart, but it's definitely time for us to move on to a new place. So stay tuned and make sure that you subscribe to my channel because I will have a ton of more home related content coming up, including a empty house tour of our house in Indiana, as well as essentially how I'm going to be designing and styling all of those spaces completely from scratch. We're not bringing any of this furniture. It's all going to stay here in Nairobi. Thanks so much guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!